And here we go.
Good morning, Service Alliance community.
Good morning. Good morning. Got my cup of
Everybody
Joe.
doing today?
I'm
Happy
ready
Tuesday.
to go. Rearing up. It's Tuesday. How's Mike Carson?
I am doing great. I just brewed a second cup of coffee.
Second?
So, oh yeah. I usually have 2 or 3 a day.
I've only drank like that much. So,
Oh, not me. I needed it this morning. I was tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. The candle is almost burnt.
Candles
from
almost burnt.
Both sides.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It's the grind, the morning grind.
Yes.
Shayna and I went out for a date night last night, which was kind of nice. She had a couple of sales calls, and afterwards we went out for dinner.
Really?
And,
who'd you guys go out on dates with?
What's that?
Who'd you guys go out on dates with?
Oh, wow. Date night is pretty important, especially when your business partner is your spouse. So we actually went to a restaurant we hadn't been for. We was headed to Applebee's, believe it or not. And I'm glad we made a turn. A local golf course here kind of redid their restaurant. And so it's called the Turns Restaurant. And so we ended up going in there, and I'm telling you what, the food was incredible. Shayna had this like bacon jam burger, and I had stuffed chicken, and it was pretty darn good. So anyway, got to take time out to have date night with your spouse, whether you work with them or don't work with them, right? So
absolutely. I mean, happy wife, happy life.
Right? Yes. Ooh, there's some sayings. We went and saw a comedian this past weekend, and there were some things that he said.
Yeah, I saw that. What was it, the Hemi guy or something like that?
Happy home, leave them alone.
Nice.
If you want your family to be complete, get a house with a lot of square feet.
Love it.
I love those. Those good. There's
words of wisdom.
Yeah, that's such wisdom. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another one, but it's a little bit iffy. Good morning, Jeremy.
Morning, Jeremy. How
Jeremy's
you doing?
Got my 6. Yep, he does.
Good morning, Adam. Good morning, anybody else that's watching. I think there's probably one more.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, and you know what? It's got to be
Saul.
Saul is the other one.
Hey, I want to throw out a challenge. So this Thursday is National Nonprofit Day. Okay. Good morning, Joe. So National Nonprofit Day. You need to be able to support, your local community in some form or fashion, or on a national level, right? So I went out yesterday and recorded a video at a local charity. It's called Heron House of Hope. They have a soup kitchen. They have a thrift store. I mean, they've got lots of different things going on. But my challenge to everybody watching this is this Thursday, go support a local charity, foundation, something. And even throw it out there as a Facebook Live, do a little blip about it. Share it on your own business Facebook page. And it's not just to promote your business, it's to promote that charity or that local organization that you want to support. That's what it's really about. This specific one, Heron House of Hope, they've got a family fun day, which is a big celebration they do every year. And each year it just keeps getting bigger and better. So that's my challenge to everybody. This Thursday is National Nonprofit Day. Go support a local charity. Yeah.
I've had one that I was trying to get promoted. I've been promoting it for years, but it just never seems to get any support, and that's the Mike Carson Retirement Foundation. And I just can't get anybody to support it at all.
Sorry,
no
man,
supporters.
I don't have cash on me. I got my Cash App card local. Do you take Venmo or Cash App? Oh, shoot.
We just started accepting cash.
That's good. And it goes to the Jason's offshore account fund.
Yes, there you go. I like that too.
Funny. All right. Well, yeah, there's a good challenge for the week. Go support Mike Carson's retirement fund. Actually, I'm doing that currently with you redesigning our website. So yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have something.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get started. I got a verse this morning that applies to what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some stuff. But today's verse, 1 Corinthians 10:24 says, "Try to do what is good for others, not just what is good for yourselves."
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. It's hard not to be selfish. It's hard not to think about ourselves. It's hard not to, we want the almighty dollar. We want the sales. We want the bank accounts to grow. We want, our businesses to be successful. We want to put food on the table. That might be the simple thing. We want to pay our bills. Let's face it, that's what we're in business to do.
Yeah.
We're not doing it because it's fun all the time. It can be fun, but not all the time. Let's face it. There's so many people out there that think, oh, you own a business, you got it made, you're rich, and I want to laugh at those people and then smack the living crap out of them at the same time because they just have no clue.
Well, before you do that, maybe we should do a prayer.
You want to pray us in?
Sure, that's fine. Sounds good. Father God, thank you for a beautiful day in my day today here in my neighborhood. I'm not sure where it's at everywhere else, but thank you for a beautiful day. And God, as we do this morning grind today, just pray that you just guide our words, guide our actions, and the conversation's about to be had. And I just pray that somebody gets something out of it that they can use to, in the long run, glorify you, and just that people will see your love through our actions. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. So today we're talking about negotiations.
Negotiations.
So when's the last time you had to negotiate, Jason, on anything?
Yesterday, as a matter of fact. Yeah. And it was I have a big Indian, right? The wood Indian that holds the cigars. I sold that yesterday, and so ended up making a couple $100 off of it. But yeah, we negotiated a little bit, came down the price, but it was an easy negotiation. Those aren't always the easy ones, but we have sales calls. We've had several already this week. I think Shayna had 4 yesterday alone, and I've had a couple since Friday. So there's always that. It's not necessarily negotiating. It's really just building value. My thing whenever I was doing electrical calls was I tried to hit up every objection that could possibly come up before it would come up. So that way, at the end of it, all they had to do was say, okay, let's get started. And I remember, gosh, this brings me back. I remember 2004, my very first big sale, right? I can remember the house. I remember the electrical panel that was in there. And I remember the ticket was about $5,500. And we just started focusing on service and repair work. And so I was doing this new service system, right? And a totally different process than just going on there and being the big Joe Schmo of here's how much it is, pay up or I go, So there's a whole conversation, there's an inspection, there's building value. And I sit down and I go through everything and I said, and the total for all this comes to, it was around $5,500. And I did the whole sales thing. You just shut up, right? First person to talk loses. I remember the lady going, her name was Ruby, as a matter of fact. She goes, okay, well, let's get it done. And I said, okay, which parts do you want to get done, Ruby? And she goes, let's get it all done. I said, okay, well, I need to go I gotta go make a phone call real quick and I'll get started. So I walked out to the truck and I told Shayna, I called her up and I said, hey, I need you to, I just sold a really good sized job and I need you to reschedule everything the rest of the day because I need to get this work done. I was just baffled because I had done the steps right. I built the value, I educated, and at that time I wasn't providing
And then you're
solutions.
surprised that it worked.
And it worked. I was like, holy cow, this works. When you follow a system and you do the things that now I get to teach. And so anyway, I thought that was pretty awesome. So, but there's been many times, let me tell you, that it didn't go that smooth. It was just, you get those objections that pop up. Man, that's really expensive, or I need to talk to my wife, So it's the objection handling that really kind of comes up. So
my biggest problem is you can know the systems, you can know how to do it, you can have all the personality in the world, or and you could be dealing with someone who's just an objectionable person.
Oh yeah.
Or they're just not gonna buy.
Yeah.
And you find yourself forcing it. Like it's like it's a bigger challenge. So you try harder and you try harder, and then you start getting more frustrated.
Yeah.
And things start going downhill when that happens, right? You're putting that square peg in a round hole, and it's just not made to fit.
Yeah.
And like for me, it was easier to learn all that process and the steps. The hard thing to learn was, when do I just cut my ties on that and move to acceptance?
Yeah.
In that process when it didn't go well.
Yeah.
And now I've learned to go ahead and accept that much earlier in the process.
Yeah.
And I've learned to actually go in most of the calls that I make. If people want to do business with me, they can do business with me. If they don't, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not offended by it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not a good fit for them. Maybe they're not a good fit. Maybe I dodged a bullet. You know.
I had those feelings conversations before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've tried the high pressure stuff. I've tried the real chill, relaxed, way of doing it. And now I'm just like, here's what I do. Here's what I have. This is what value I can bring. And if you don't want it, that's on you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for you, but it's on you. And, it's for me, it's more about educating what options people have available to them. And I have found that that's much more valuable to people.
Yeah.
Because then once they know and they have kind of a picture, I've had so many conversations with people that it blows my mind how many people that I talk to about building their websites or doing SEO for them, that they've already talked to a bunch of people. And then I'm just another one in the pool, and they'll sit on the phone with me and they'll be like, none of these other people told me any of this. Like none of these people explained anything anywhere near as well as you did.
Yep.
And I'm like, I can't imagine somebody even trying to do anything without explaining what's involved, or what they're getting.
Yeah. The old adage of the radio station call sign letters, WIIFM, what's in it for me? I remember that for many years. You got to explain the benefits, not just the features, right? The features versus benefits is another thing that I teach, but explaining to them why they need what they need, not just the shiny object part of it, right? So, interesting stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to find out what people need. You already know what they need. They need their stuff fixed, right? But how much more could you make if you find out on top of that what they want?
Yeah, because
and people will pay for what they want.
Yeah. Well, as an electrician, I mean, in the appliance world as well, but as an electrician, I would go into people's homes because of a problem, right? I very rarely got called into a house because, oh, they wanted something nice and fluffy to be added to their electrical system. It was
Exactly.
usually, I got a problem. Oh, hey, while I'm here, and this is one of the questions I ask, is there any other concerns you have for me or any other questions that I can answer you while I'm here? So that simple question, anything else I can address for you while I'm here, always brought up something. I mean, probably a good 80-90% of the time. And those were those usual want items. Well, the lighting in my kitchen's kind of dim. I'd like to talk maybe about some upgrades in the lighting for the kitchen. Okay, great. I'll look into that and I'll get back with you. And then I go and do my stuff. And that's the stuff, like you said, the needs versus wants. So
Yeah. People don't like paying for what they need,
yeah,
but they don't mind paying at all for what they want.
Yeah.
I mean, Amazon's success is proof enough of that, right?
And Temu is coming up. Oh man, Temu. My family is. I need to shut down some credit cards because of Temu. I think Temu is ridiculous. I mean, when you can get an $8 pair of tennis shoes that looks like they're $100 and they're actually kind of comfy. Yeah, but that's a whole nother conversation that I think we're feeding the economy wrong. But yeah, I'll leave that alone for another day. Let's get back to The Art of Negotiations. Wasn't there a book named The Art of Negotiation, I believe? But
I think there was.
Yeah, The Art of War.
The Art of War. Yeah, definitely The Art of War. There's some good books out there. There's so many books. I've read a lot of books on negotiation, listened to lots of podcasts and just video content around it. And it's like everybody says the same things, in general. But you know what? Let's ask our audience. We got a live audience, live studio audience. What have you guys had out there? What situations have you had that you had a hard time negotiating in the past month with your clients? Like, what was the situation? What happened? And how did you resolve it? Like, what are you guys doing out there in your day to day as you're going out talking to people? I mean, somebody gets a little objectionable on your service when you're telling them what it's going to cost, on your pricing. That right there, you got to negotiate all the time. So how do you handle those objectionable people? And then of course they don't want to pay for the bill, for the big bill. Now you got to deal with, well, you still got the service call fee, which that should be handled all up front. In my opinion, you should probably already charged for that. I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be charging for a service call fee right up front, over the phone. Take that credit card, be done with it. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
Set those expectations, get your money, do your job. I mean, you go to McDonald's and you don't get a burger until you've paid for it, right?
Yeah.
You order, you pay, you receive. That's the world we live in everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know any other business that you don't get your stuff until after you've paid for it.
This one brings me to a good point. I have the teaching that I do. It's all about objection handling. So here's what I'm going to do today. Anybody who just sends me a private message today, I'm going to send you the PDF to the objection handling class. And so yeah, private message me, direct message me on through Facebook Messenger, and I'll send you this PDF for free. It's a great teaching. I don't know if you want to dive into it any, but some of the things you said, to me, it's getting ahead of things even before you get there, right? So whoever's answering your phones, be it you in a truck or have a call center answering it, what questions are the customers having before that you even get there, right? Are you the right person to even do the job? Are you the right company? Is this the right time? There's so many things that's going through their head at that point that we've got to even overcome at that point of the phone call, right? So it's a really important time. Yeah, I think probably one of the biggest ones that I hear, that I'm just thinking back whenever I was doing it, is this, that objection of how much is it going to cost? I think that's a big one that always comes up. And it goes back to the needs versus want part of it. But yeah, send me a message. I'll send that to you for free.
So let's start going through some bullet points on how you can be a better negotiator, right? The first and foremost thing, listening.
That's actually, because I have 4 different points to this. And
do you? Are you going to go through yours?
Listen is actually my number 1. I'd be interested to hear what your number 2 is. Go for it.
Well, my number 2 is it's communication.
Okay, empathize is mine. So
yeah, I mean it's got to be communication and building trust.
Building trust. I've got asking questions. So that's the way you can build trust.
Which is part of the communication. But empathy is a big one.
A huge one. Yeah.
I mean, that's putting yourself in that other person's shoes.
Yeah.
And seeing their perspective and understanding where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But you can't do that unless you ask questions, right?
Yep.
You can't do that unless you communicate.
Yep.
And you can't do that unless you listen.
You need to show that you care.
Right.
That's for sure. I've got in here, you need to use phrases like I understand or I totally get where you're coming from. Some of them that you don't want to use is I agree, or it is kind of, so when somebody says, well, that's really expensive, don't agree.
Never agree.
Don't say it is kind of expensive, right? You got to think before you speak. A big one on the objection handling with the money aspect is, I just had a brain fart. Holy cow. Wow. Where was I going with that one?
It's a matter of perspective, actually.
Yeah. Boy, I just lost my train of thought like in a flash second there. That's the benefits getting old. Maybe I need to start the Jason Shadowin retirement fund account. Where was I going with that? Holy cow.
I mean, when you're dealing with objection handling, I mean, and I love how you said don't agree.
Yeah.
You never want to agree. I totally agree with that statement.
Yeah.
But pricing is a matter of opinion.
Yeah.
Whether it's a value is a matter of opinion.
I remember I was going.
When you're dealing with the value proposition.
Yeah.
Right? Because someone else is going to say, oh yeah, that's a good value. You could have someone else say, oh no, that's really expensive.
Yeah.
I'd never pay for that. And it's the same exact thing, is more valuable to some than others.
Yeah.
And it's kind of amazing when you look at that world, but that's where the communication and education comes in and everything. And some people will never see value. They will never see value in what you have to offer.
Yeah. So where I was going with that is until they ask you a question, there's really no need for you to respond, right? So if they say, man, that's expensive, is that a question? No, it's not a question. Until they say, why is this so expensive? You have no reason to respond, right? And as contractors, we have such a hard time keeping our mouth shut, right? We want to defend everything because we see it as this is the most awesome thing in the world and you have to have it. And I can't believe you said that was expensive. No, they're just trying to justify in their head. Really, when they say a statement like, oh, that's kind of expensive, they didn't ask a question. They're just trying to justify in their head, is this too expensive? Can I afford this? How can I afford this? So it's really until they ask you that question of, well, Jason, I really want this done. How can I, afford to do it? Maybe you didn't bring up the aspect of you take credit cards or you can help with financing through payment plans. If you have a third-party company, never do in-house financing, never. But yeah, so anyway, that's where I was going with that brain fart.
We got challenged here.
Uh-oh.
Paul challenged us. I disagree. I think acknowledging that, yes, it is a lot. However, this is why it has value goes a lot further with building trust in my experience.
Yes, it has a lot. It's a lot. Okay. But
I can see by your reaction, you don't agree with Paul's statement.
I'm not going to agree with somebody that's kind of expensive. If I break out an electrical panel that's a $3,000 change out and they disagree that it's expensive, or they agree that if I agree with them that it's expensive, I'm basically telling that customer, hey, somebody else can do it cheaper and better, right? That's my first thoughts.
That's my thoughts exactly. I have to honestly say, Paul, I completely disagree with you. And here's why. I see that as an opportunity. When somebody is saying, wow, that's a lot, I wasn't expecting that. Okay. Now they weren't expecting that. They just got sticker shock.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's how you handle that. Now they want to hear other options.
Yeah.
Like, what else could you do for them? And how can you work with them to get that price more in line with what they're willing to accept? Now, immediately, you just gave them a price. You set a threshold right then and there that they know this is the price and this is too high. So you know what their high threshold already is. So practically anything that you bring down lower for them, as long as it's a good, viable solution and not some hack, is most likely going to benefit you and become an accepted ticket.
So Paul, to your next comment, I will say it doesn't matter if you're heating and air, appliance repair, electricians, plumbers. If it's a $200 ticket or a $10,000 ticket, you have to provide solutions, plural. Right. This is how you get over that. Wow, that's really expensive. Or I'm getting other bids and providing multiple solutions. Let's talk about cleaning out a dryer. I did this with EJ on a live service call. Oh, and my camera is doing that whole following thing.
It's been doing it a little bit.
So I went with EJ and ran some service calls with him, and we went on a no heat dryer call, right? And we got the dryer pulled apart, and it is just full of lint, like everywhere. And so we ended up providing multiple solutions. And the highest one was only $550, I think it was. And that was to clean out the dryer, replace something. I can't remember what, it was a switch or rollers or something in the dryer, and then clean out the dryer vent as a whole. So we gave three options, three solutions, the highest being around $550. The middle option was around $420, $400, something like that. And then the lowest option was just, hey, I'll put everything back together and it's a Band-Aid fix. That's all I can do for you today. She actually at first said, I want this whole thing done, right? But she couldn't afford it. So we was able to help her out with payment plans on a $550, solution, and was able to get her taken care of about a few days later. So again, I'm going to agree to disagree. It's not a different industry. There's a book by Ron Smith. I don't have my books here. It's called HVAC Spells Wealth. Paul, I urge you to go find that book. What does HVAC Spells Wealth have to do with the appliance world? It has everything to do with the appliance world. When I bought this book, I'm sitting there talking to Ron about this book, and a guy comes up and he goes, "You're an electrician. Why would you buy that book? HVAC Spells Wealth has nothing to do with being an electrician." I'm like, "You're wrong. It has everything to do with being an electrician. It has everything to do with being a plumber, heating and air guy, appliance repair guy. The processes and systems are really the same. It's the solutions that can be a little bit different, right?" So
any service industry could use
yes,
the same principles.
yeah. So again, building value, educating the customer, and providing solutions. That's the same in every industry. It's just how you approach it is just a little bit different, right? So go find that
Mhm.
book, Paul. HVAC Spills Wealth.
Yeah, it's all about having solutions and always having a plan B. And you bring up a really really good point when you were with EJ. The lady wanted it all done.
Yeah,
She couldn't afford it. So that's a perfect opportunity. What financing options do you have available in those cases? Because you could lose a sale if somebody doesn't forget it. Maybe a cheaper price isn't your solution for that customer. Maybe having financing options is your solution
yeah.
for that customer.
Soul brings up a
So,
good point. If your price is competitive in the marketplace, this conversation should be handled differently. The conversation is
mhm,
going to be coming in my opinion, talking more about what's your warranty compared to the other guys, right? So in my world, I kept hearing about everybody having a 1 year guarantee. So I made my guarantees 3 years. Everything I did, a minimum 3 year warranty on everything I did. So that set me apart from everybody else in my marketplace. So what are you doing to set yourself apart in your marketplace, right? So if your price is competitive in the marketplace and that's all people are comparing you on, yeah, they're going to go with the lowest bidder all the time. I had that happen in my own life. Just
mhm,
recently, I had my courtyard redone, and I had one company that literally was the exact same price as the other one, and they uh, literally word for word, everything was the same, but they were more than twice as much. So I went with the middle guy. Well, guess what? I'm having issues. So the top guy, he comes back. Oh, I knew that was going to happen. Blah blah blah. I was like, no, I didn't even know it was going to happen because you're telling me apples to apples, it's the same thing, but you're more than twice the price. How was I supposed to know you would be any better?
yeah,
Your warranty
what's
was the same.
nothing there was nothing that set him apart.
Exactly. So how are you
Yeah,
setting yourself apart in the marketplace other than just price, right? That comes
exactly.
into a lot of your branding can come into play in that, right? Are you wearing holy jeans and holy shirt to go into somebody's house? Or do you have nice pants, maybe cargo pants and a nice uniform shirt, right? What's your vehicle look like? I mean, this could go in so many different directions as far as this conversations. So
Is your hair cut? Is your beard trimmed? There's so many people I see, long shaggy beards that don't trim them up,
yeah.
and you know, things stuck
Oh,
in them from their
yeah.
lunch, but you can't show up to people's houses that way.
Paul, it's good to hear. Maybe we can have another conversation on the side sometime. I'd love to talk with you a little bit more. There's so many good books out there when it comes to the art of negotiation and stuff. But um, send me your email, Paul, and I'll send you over that objection handling for free. Um, yeah, we'll start from there. But and then find the book.
Yeah.
It'd be a good one.
I love it. I love it when we get challenged. I love
Yeah,
I love I love the perspective, of hearing the other side and everything. It makes everything, just have it makes it a better conversation.
yeah,
So thank you, Paul, for
yeah,
challenging us. You know, we don't want all yes men here,
yeah.
watching us and commenting. So
Yes, right.
what's Saul says, just had my roof replaced, went with a guy that wasn't necessarily the cheapest, but he lives in our community, offered better materials, explained the differences, and it was done.
Yeah,
So, I've had plenty of people come to me for web work, and I charge a, a fair premium for what I do,
yeah,
and when I say fair premium, I don't mean a fair amount. I
yeah,
charge a fair amount, but it's on the premium side
yeah,
because I know that other people in my industry don't know what I know. It's more on the rare side,
yeah,
and I have a certain set of specialties and things like that set my company apart. And there's been plenty of times that I've been the most expensive quote, and I've been really far off. I mean, clients have come back to me and said, you were like, these other people were substantially cheaper.
Yeah.
And I just said, okay, let's start looking at that apples to apples things like you were talking about with
Exactly.
your courtyard. Let's
Exactly.
start looking at that. Tell me what's good about their company. Let's not even look at the quote, but what's good about their company? How did they present themselves? What experience did they have? Did they
Mm,
explain things on the phone?
yeah.
And once you start opening that up with the customer, then it starts getting them thinking, about the conversations they have had with other people or the experience they've had with previous people, or you start getting them to kind of question some things.
Yeah.
Okay. And it makes it easier to have that conversation. And in most cases, if you are the more professional person, it it hands down will make you, more money in the long run. More people are going to want to do better, or they're going to want to do business with a
Yeah.
better company
Yeah.
that
Your
represents
reputation,
us.
your reputation will precede you. 25 years
Yeah.
in the electrical industry, and my reputation preceded me. I always treated people, I've got it even on here. Do what you said you would do when you said you would do it for the price you said you would do it for. I literally lived by that. Um, Before I even had personal core values, that was really part of my personal core values. And yeah, I still have people asking me today, hey, I really don't want to use anybody else. Would you come do this work for me? I'm like, I didn't renew my insurance. I didn't renew my license. So I really wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. I could
Right.
still probably be killing it in the electrical world, but I've decided to move on. So what we got here?
Yeah. Like Saul said, Mike, say it with pride. I'm not the cheapest, and I'm not going to apologize for it. I definitely do not apologize for not being the cheapest ever.
Yeah.
But I'm the guy that will be there when you need me, and that comes at a price. I have actually used that statement
Yeah.
almost verbatim when I'm talking to people, and my clients stick with me for a long time. They're not it's not a once and done thing. Like, I have so many repeat business, or so much repeat business, that it's insane. Like, for decades, I've got clients that have stuck with me for 15 plus years.
Yeah.
And I I don't take that lightly, and you guys shouldn't either with you know your repeat business. You want that repeat business. In my case, I've only got a few services to sell, over and over. And sometimes people don't need those services from me
Yeah.
for a very long time, right? And nobody needs a website rebuilt every year. It's going to be every 4 or 5 years, in
Yeah.
some cases, depending on what their needs are.
Yeah.
Some people need me more frequently to do web work, but or SEO, things like that. That's a recurring monthly thing. But um, when, but that's for me. How many different appliances, or the yearly maintenance that needs to be done on HVAC systems, you
Yeah.
know, just general things. You guys have a huge opportunity for
Yeah.
recurring income.
The appliance world, electricians, it was once every 9 years. So the average nationally was people call an electrician once every 9 years. So for me to get into a door is a special thing. It's an opportunity, right, to shine
Mhm.
and to show them why I want to be their electrician for life. So the next time they need me in another 9 years, I'm the guy they think of. Um, but Mike says, or Saul says,
So
Mike, you're using his trademark. Good stuff.
he's gonna need some royalties for me. I don't know. I don't know how old Saul is, so I might be a little older than him, so he may be using my copywritten material.
Ah, Huh. Now you got me wondering because I've never actually met someone.
That's funny. So we should probably wrap this up. We're already 40 minutes in.
Yeah, it's been
But
a good one.
it has been a good one. I like talking about, you know what I love when our community starts giving us feedback and starts,
Yep.
you know, getting engaged, getting involved, makes everything better. Love
And
it.
if I stepped on anybody's toes, I hope I stepped on your toes in a good way to make you think and challenge your thinking, because I'm the same way. If somebody says something,
Yeah.
I'm going to take it and consider it either as a challenge or something I need to correct. So great feedback. I appreciate it.
You know, when somebody steps on my toes, it reminds me I have toes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You stepped on, you
My
know.
size 13 feet. I kid you, Shayna makes fun of my little toe, or my middle toe is literally as long as my pinky. So I've got some long toes.
We'll trust you on that. We
You don't
don't
wanna see 'em?
need any no, we don't need visuals. I have the power to remove you from the screen.
Oh, shoot. Hey, I'm
All
gonna
right,
throw
everybody.
before we go.
We're gonna
Larry Winget is a great
go
author.
ahead.
Larry Winget is a great author, and he's a fun author too. He's wrote tons of books out there. I was trying to think of one. There was one he had one on sales, but I couldn't remember it. But he has books called like "Shut Up, Stop Whining, and Get a Life." It's called "Work for a Reason." Your kids are your own fault. Grow a Pair, fun book. People are idiots, and I can prove it. So go check out Larry Winget. He's got some great books that really hit home. His book titles really catch your attention, but they're really good. So yeah, selling is simple.
Funny.
Maybe that's the one. Selling is simple. So anyway, yeah, check out Larry Winget and Ron Smith's book.
Who would have thought that all this is simple?
Right? Yeah,
we're the ones that overthink it.
That's for sure. All right.
All right.
Well, you have a great week, and
you too.
I'll talk to you in a little bit. So yeah.
All right. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Take care.